circling back to the top 10 supplements and drugs, taking a hard detour back here. So you said you were going to include it and didn't make it into the book. What are the top 10?
Yeah, and top 10, well, yeah, I think it would be like the ones that I would be asked about the most. So it's not like these are the things that you should be taking. It's like, what would be the top 10 molecules worth understanding or something like that. So, I mean, I think it would have certainly been statins, PCSK9 inhibitors, metformin, rapamycin, SGLT2 inhibitors, testosterone, HRT for women, so estrogen, progesterone, growth hormone, allopurinol probably would have been thrown in there, ACE inhibitors and ARBs. So those would have been kind of your top 10-ish pharmaceutical, like prescription-based exogenous molecules. Again, meaning where I really want a reader to understand in a very nuanced way the ins and outs of those drugs. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a few in there, but that's like ballpark. You know, that's kind of like disease-specific management, geroprotection, you know, across the board, right? On the supplement side, I think the ones that I would have ultimately finished would have been EPA and DHA, Theracumin, vitamin D, ashwagandha, L-threonate with magnesium, B vitamins in general. God, what else was on my list? I don't remember what else we had in there. But, you know, like, again, nothing like, creatine for sure.
CoQ10?
No, I don't think I was going to do something on CoQ10. Yeah, I'm sure I'm blanking on some really obvious ones that I'm forgetting that were kind of like interesting that I thought like I want to make sure people have some understanding of the data. Like, what's the mechanism of action? And we have kind of a framework that I sort of, you know, I go through this in more detail in the course where we kind of, and we have our patients do this, right? Where it's like, okay, you know, we have patients that show up, sometimes they're on like a freaking 100 supplements or something ridiculous. And I'm always like, oh, I think I would have done something on NR. Yeah. So NR and NMN, for sure. And it's like, you know, I just have them ask like, or answer a series of questions like, okay, why are you taking this? You know, are you taking this because, you know, it's something that's going to improve lifespan or health span or both? Like, actually try to articulate that, right? And if so, you know, is it operating through a geroprotective mechanism, broadly speaking, or is it disease specific? What kind of human data exist on the safety and the efficacy? What kind of animal data exist on the safety and the efficacy? If it's a GRAS formulation, how do you ensure purity? Like, what allows you to ensure purity and stuff like that? So you know, I think it's very important to go through that type of line of inquiry before you take a molecule. Like, you have to be able to provide some sense of why you're taking it. And for some things, like, it's, you know, you're going to have far less clarity around the answers to those questions for sure. But you have to have some sense of risk reward, I think, with everything you take. And I mean, I think too many people have a very loose sense of risk and reward when they're talking about over-the-counter supplements. They're like, come on, it says if I can buy it on Amazon, like, it's got to be safe. And it's like, no, that's not actually true at all. Like, I've seen people nearly box their livers taking stuff they bought on Amazon. So
phosphatidylserine, would that be on your list?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of phosphatidylserine when I travel. I don't know if it was going to make the list, but it's a big part of
Berberine?
Nah, probably not. I mean, I've got metformin on there. Yeah.
So of those top most important drugs and supplements to understand, which of those do you take out of curiosity?
Well, I take things that aren't on there, and I take some things that are on there. So, you know, I take bempedoic acid, ezetimibe, and Repatha. So that's my...
Oh, you take all three?
Yeah, that's my big stack on cardiovascular.
And no statin?
No.
Okay. There's this website that continuously updates seemingly weekly with what your supposed stack is, and I guess they are not up to date because they say you're on a statin right now.
I mean, I was in the past. What does the stack have there? I'm curious. Or what does the website say?
Yeah, I guess I should have read this first and you could tell me how accurate it was. So it says that currently, as of August 9th, 2023, you take 2 grams of omega-3 fish oil per day. Vitamin D, you target a 40 to 60 nanogram per milliliter blood level, apparently. By the way, why do you not exceed 60? Calcium?
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessary, truthfully. I
Okay.
haven't seen any evidence that it needs to really be above 60, even though I think there's probably no harm in going a little bit higher.
Magnesium, multiple types per day, up to 1 gram total. Is that accurate?
No, I take much more than that.
Of yield or like full elemental weight?
No, full elemental weight, right? Because I'm taking 400 to 500 of mag oxide, plus I take like 2 to 3 slow mag, and each of those is probably pushing 60 to 80 milligrams, plus the 2 L-threonates. No, you're right. That's probably a gram of magnesium.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the magnesium RDA of like 400 or whatever it is?
I think it's low. I think it's a mistake, actually. I think magnesium deficiency, that would be one of the other supplements that's on there, is magnesium for sure. I think magnesium deficiency is such an underappreciated, low-hanging fruit.
And modulator of blood pressure to some extent.
Yeah, and also just modulator of, especially if you're someone who exercises, like performance-based, mitigating fasciculations, cramping, PVCs. We see a lot of people, young people that show up with PVCs.
One of the few things that impacts testosterone too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You remember the OG like ZMA pills?
Yeah.
Magnesium in it.
All right, what else am I taking?
So are you on 2 grams of fish oil?
No, I take a little more than that, I think.
Okay.
Probably 3.
How much of that is EPA and DHA?
I think I take Carlson's, and I think it's called either Elite or Super EPA. So it's slightly weighted in the favor of EPA. It's probably a 60-40 EPA split.
This clip is going to help this guy with just the most consolidated, updated list. Protein powder, apparently you have 1 shake per day. I'm assuming that's variable depending on, whatever your appetite is like, if you have time versus not to eat, traveling, etc. Greens powder, do you have that typically?
I do. Oh, yeah. I take an AG every single morning. I forgot about that in my morning routine. So that's actually the first thing I ingest is I take AG and I take 2 probiotics that are also, it's made by a company called Pendulum.
Does it come like with like cold packs?
Yes.
Okay. And then you refrigerate
It's
right
refrigerated right away. And this is the only company to my knowledge that is not looking at CFUs to tell you what they have in there. They're actually looking at, I don't think they're doing gene expression. I think they're actually doing microarrays or protein blots, but they're actually looking at the output of Acromanthia.
What is it called again?
They're called Pendulum is the name of the company.
Pendulum.
Yeah.
Probiotic, but nope. Have you ever heard of Symbiotics?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's like a combo of pre and probiotic, but I guess you could just get that separately anyways.
Yeah. So Pendulum,
Nice.
so that there's a probiotic in there called Glucose Control that, again, it's a super rigorous. I think it's the best compound on the market. I have no affiliation. I know the CEO though, and then I do have an affiliation with AG, so I should disclose that. So I'm an investor and advisor to Athletic Greens.
Okay.
But I take a scoop of AG every morning with my probiotic as my starting thing.
So this probiotic blend lowers glucose?
Yes.
Okay. And it's
So Acromanthia basically supports the production of butyrate, and that's kind of how you're getting that metabolic benefit.
what do you think of those sodium butyrate supplements that are straight?
Um,
Because I'm pretty sure you can just buy straight sodium butyrate.
yeah, and I think people are sort of using that for ketone production, aren't they?
I think some are using it as like a HDAC inhibitor or something too, or like a gene expression modifier. Apparently it has like some effect that I would have to read about to say exactly what it was.
No, I'm not really familiar with its use.
All right, sleep supplements taken regularly. Glycine, 2 grams prior to sleep.
Yes.
Ashwagandha, 600 milligrams prior to sleep.
I actually switched to a purer formulation, and I'm down to a lower dose, 300.
So is that like a sensor roll?
I'm using a Solgar version now. I switched from Gero to Solgar.
What's the withanolide
Oh,
content?
it's actually, put it this way, going from 600 of Gero to 300 of Solgar increased the concentration.
Okay.
I want to say, God, I should know this, maybe 8 milligrams.
Let's see. Ashwagandha extract, vegetable.
It should say on the bottle, right?
Supplement fats. Yeah, it is
8.4,
4.5 milligrams.
4.5 in one 300 mg capsule.
Yeah, so it's 1.5% with analyte content.
That's in the Solgar or in the Gero?
Solgar.
Okay.
I'm
Glass, big, let me see. Oh, you don't have to flip the monitor around, but.
No, yeah, it's the
It's
glass
the
one.
glass. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next up we got magnesium L-threonate, which I guess is part of the other combo that you take. Taken occasionally for jet lag to sleep early, melatonin 2 to 5 milligrams.
Yeah, I never take 5. At least not that I would take 1 to 3 to sleep on a plane. Or
where this guy's getting his information. Or have you said 5 before?
It's possible. But that 5 is a lot because I only have 1s and 3s.
400 to 600 phosphatidylserine.
For jet lag as well.
And then that's all he has for jet lag. Do you have anything else in there now? Besides the glycine, ashwagandha, magnesium?
Yeah, I'll take typically 50 of trazodone as well.
Okay.
Yep.
No more phenibut?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That stuff is pretty cool for social anxiety even, and like public speaking and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but unfortunately it develops tolerance somewhat, has pretty significant withdrawals after use, and I guess it's been banned. So
yeah, that's true. It's no longer grass.
Yeah. Theracumin. So is this like not the combo biopairing? It's like a different bioavailable version.
This is the pure encapsulations version of theracumin. That's just sort of a kind of a higher potency curcumin.
Okay. Gotcha. Now for curcumin, do you take that daily?
I do.
Okay. You've never found like an anti-androgenic effect or anything?
It's possible. Maybe. Does that explain my low T?
I don't know. Huberman says curcumin wrecked him when he took it. Yeah, like noticeably. But he's super sensitive to seemingly everything.
He is, yeah.
Rapamycin for longevity. Still take it?
I do.
Do you microdose it? Like a couple?
No, I mean, I macrodose it intermittently, right?
Okay.
I'm only taking it once a week.
So what is the dose, out of curiosity?
I take 8 milligrams once a week.
And it's presumably important that it's the brand version and not the compounded.
It should never be compounded because if it's not enterically coated, it won't leave the stomach. So all those people compounding it need to stop. But it doesn't have to be branded Rapamune. It could be generic sirolimus. They both have an enteric coating on them.
Okay. Statin PCSK9 inhibitor. So I guess it's not the statin anymore. It is the other ones you already mentioned. And anything they're missing? We probably already covered everything, right?
No, I'm sure there's other things on there. I feel like I have another few bottles in my pill thing, but
oh yeah, the NR. Why not NMN? And why not?
I don't take NR.
Oh, you just think it's something to understand?
Yeah, I think it's worth talking about NR and NMN, but I've never taken them and don't.
Gotcha. Oh, you've never even thought to experiment after all the questions? People drill you about that stuff.
Yeah, no, I just don't find the data compelling.
Okay. Not even NAD IVs?
I've never done an NAD IV.